Welcome to Table Talk, and thank you for joining us today. Our guest is Coffee County's own Jordan Winton, who recently won a prestigious Merlin Award from the International Magicians Society, and he's back from his win in Las Vegas to tell us all about it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's exciting. I did not know that we had you available in this area, and it's so cool that you're from Middle Tennessee.
Out of all places, right?
Right. And we will mention and talk about a little bit more across from the station here. You own Rigor Mortis, which is a kind of a, not just Halloween, but what do you call it? Like a...
So it is a haunted house, 50,000 indoor square feet, quite different than Magic, but they kind of blend together.
Yeah. I've heard very good things about it over the years. There's always usually a line waiting to go into it.
Definitely.
We see that in October it gets cranked up. So tell us, I guess, how your love of magic began.
It's the typical magician story, and that's really weird to say, but most magicians, it starts at a young age, just like any hobby does. And I got a magic kit at 8 years old. And at 8 years old, you're still just kind of playing around and, just being a kid. And for me, it was, I guess I haven't grown up is what I'm trying to say. But I got a magic kit at 8 years old for Christmas. And I started doing these little itty bitty tricks, the common tricks you would receive in such a kit. And it just kind of, my love for it grew because I enjoyed entertaining people. And I figured that out very young. When I figured it out, I would take these little tricks and learn them, and I would go show my parents or my grandparents or, anything like that. And I loved the reaction I would get from it. I loved being able to take people and entertain.
Yeah.
So magic the illusions have gotten bigger, but the love for it has stayed the same. And it all started from that one magic kit.
I guess that's how a lot of young people, like you said, get into it, and then you take it probably and grow it and make your tricks a little more and more complicated.
Yes, they've gotten complicated for sure.
And I'll ask you about that in a minute. So I guess how did your ambitions evolve from just, a kid doing magic to considering it as a career? At what point were you like, I think I'm going to do this?
Yeah, so whenever I got into magic in particular, there was a lot of other hobbies I had, just like some people have, quite a few hobbies, we have to. My father had always decorated the house for Christmas, and I started doing Christmas lighting with him at my house, and that turned into one thing after the other, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And at 500,000 lights at 15 years old, I was programming the show, doing the lights, and ABC contacted me to be on The Great Christmas Light Fight, which aired internationally. And I was the youngest contestant on there. I guess I have a thing with being the youngest. I don't know. I feel very old, but
that's okay.
We'll take it, right?
That's right.
So I did the show, and after that, it was like call after call after call, people wanting me to do their commercial or residential display here in Middle Tennessee and other states. So I took the opportunity, and again, it was just taking something that I started very young and figuring out how can I still not go to work every day but make money doing what I do.
Well, and I will say, when it comes to things like that, and probably with magic too, it's a lot of hard work behind the scenes. I think of all that lighting and stuff like that and all the programming, and then, oops, we got a lot out. And to me, that would be like a hair-pulling career. So,
it is very stressful.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
But that's, I guess you learn to kind of troubleshoot, and we can apply that to both the lighting and as well as the magic too.
Correct. It's very tedious, and I'm a very OCD person, which it helps sometimes, and sometimes it can get in my way. But by being able to troubleshoot, I believe we're still learning every day. And for me, I have a lot to learn. And it's been one of the fun parts of it is discovering new ways and techniques to adapt to different situations.
So you're the youngest person to receive the award. First, I guess, tell us about your story. How did you find out you even had been nominated?
It's really surreal to be like thinking that I was literally just in Las Vegas receiving the award, and to be the youngest when I found out was absolutely crazy. So in Magic, I've had mentors, and these mentors have won awards for their different, things such as, close-up magic, or if they do grand stage illusions or whatnot. And I would have never thought that I would be considered to win an award this early on in this career choice I've chosen to take. When I received the award, and how I found out was kind of fun because I had no idea. And whenever I got the call from Tony Hassini, the International Magician Society president, I didn't initially answer. It was a Las Vegas number, and I kept forwarding the call, and I got a voicemail from him. And when I got that voicemail, I was like, I got to call this man back.
Right.
So I called him back, and we spoke, and he had informed me that I won the Merlin, which I almost thought it was a prank call, but it definitely wasn't. And in order to win the Merlin, you cannot seek it out. So in other words, you have to be in the Magician Society. There's 57,000 members. You have to be referred to by other magicians. And then from there, they have hundreds of magicians that they think might be eligible. And they do a voting between the 57,000 members. And every year, they pick a person to receive the Merlin. So that's kind of the
Wow.
story.
And the youngest one, that is just amazing.
Thank you.
So we've got a lot to look forward to, I'm sure, as you grow older in your magic tricks and stuff like that.
Definitely.
From reading about you, it seems like your parents have been very supportive of big ideas and stuff. I guess talk to us about, how they have played a part. I mean, I can't imagine them getting contacted about the Great Christmas Light Fight and things like that. How have they played a role in this?
Well, my mom and dad, their names are George and Carrie, and mom and dad are very, very, very amazing people and a role model to me. One of my biggest inspirations in magic is people that are close to me, and the reason I say that is because it gives me that drive to do such an odd job every day. And mom and dad have always been the type of parents, whenever I got into any hobby, they would, tell me that to work hard and to do things. And I think they gave me the work ethic in order to pursue it. It's not an easy career path. It's very not ordinary. So with the Christmas lights and the haunted house and the magic, they've always been that support system of, hey, follow your dreams. But they've also been the type that have taught me the work ethic and the value of a dollar. So that's been a very valuable lesson, to be able to have good role models. And I think that's the core of any success story, is having that inspiration or that role model.
Yeah, like you said, they encouraged you to dream big, but also the practical side of it of, this is a living. You don't want to spend too much on trying to promote yourself and things like that. So the smart side of the money as well.
Correct. That's a big part of it, is whether, you're doing something as a hobby or you're doing it as a business. You got to find that happy balance if you love what you do, because you don't want to take the joy out of it. But at the same time, it is still a business. And the more that you can put into something, the more that you sometimes get out of it, but you have to find that happy medium.
So talk to us, I guess, about some of the goals, I guess, you have on how you want to grow your magic. Is the dream a marquee sign in Vegas, a residency there?
Well, it's good to dream big. I'm really just thankful to have my theater where I own it and I can go in and do whatever I need to be done. It's really perfect. McMinnville, out of all places, people are like, magic show, haunted house. And the short answer is it's nice and central for a lot of different surrounding cities to come and visit. The magic show's theater seats about 100 people. And with that, it keeps it very intimate with the grand scale illusions. But to be able to have your own theater is nice because you can take and produce a 90-minute show with pretty much however you want. And I have full reign to be able to go in and adapt the theater to fit the show. Now, the big dream is obviously one day to have a show, and even, I mean, Las Vegas is every magician's dream, but
Right.
Nashville is such a growing city. There's a
Yes.
lot of population, a lot of tourists, and the more people that come to the show means the more magic I get to share with them. So whether I'm here, Las Vegas, or whatever, I think the biggest part is I'm always going to have my theater here in McMinnville because it is my home base and it gives me a lot of creativity range.
Yeah, I guess that's a good place where you can actually go on a regular basis to practice and get a feel for the room and know how the trick is going to work in that area. And
It is a great rehearsal space.
Yeah. So it's actually, I guess, a place where people can purchase tickets and go see a show. How do they find you?
So if you want to purchase tickets to the Magic of Jordan, you can go online at tickets.jordanwintonmagic.com, or you can also go to jordanwintonmagic.com. And through there you'll see a seating map of the theater where you can select your seats for different performances and check out that way. We used to sell tickets at the door, but recently in the last year or so, they always sell out in advance. So it's always good to book your ticket ahead of time.
Yeah, that's true. For locals, that's easy to do. And then you
Correct.
said we can buy them online and then show up, and that's easy. So tell us, I guess, also, I meant to ask you about your mentorship with Terry Evanswood, who is pretty famous in the Gatlinburg, area for his magic show. How has he, I guess, been a mentor to you?
Well, I'm very lucky to have had great mentors in magic. Getting into this career path is, it's not easy to make connections. And whenever it was just the right place at the right time. With Terry, we was in a restaurant and we ended up having a conversation. We went to a show, and then the rest is history. So it was a very, very odd situation where you get to just meet somebody at the right time. For magic, I didn't discover that I necessarily wanted to pursue it fully as a career until about 2019, and that's when, the pandemic was about to
Yes.
start up and stuff. So it gave me time to kind of get into the swing of things and learn a lot. But with different mentors, I've also had Noah Wells, who's a famous magician, and now he's in Florida performing with him and his wife. And I've had so many great mentors of magic that I could talk about them all day because they truly have helped me in the skill set of it, and a lot of advice. And the only way to learn is to have experience. And being young, I'm open to hearing any experience so I can avoid any obstacles possible. So I've been very blessed to have some great mentors in magic.
So who is your magician icon, I guess, who you think is just, of course, I'm sure we're familiar with certain names and things like that, but there may be somebody out there that you look up to that we've not heard of.
That's a hard question. There's so many good magicians. And for me, I've always, and it's going to sound very strange, I've always had a fascination and a love for Siegfried and Roy. And the reason why is because at the time in Las Vegas, they were the highest paid entertainers in the 1990s. I mean, $56 million a year, that would go a long way, even back then.
Right.
So they did a grand show with a high production, which is what I'm into, is the lighting, the sound, the sets, the costuming.
It's a whole experience.
It's a whole experience. It's very full. So they did the tigers and stuff like that. But really, I just loved their magic because it was a universal language. No matter where you was from, you could visually see it and experience and feel the emotion. I also enjoy David Copperfield and Chris Angel. Different magicians have different kind of
Styles,
inspiration for me,
yes,
and styles.
right,
So I can find a niche, but Siegfried and Roy, even though I never had the chance to see them, I have, since they passed away, they sold off a lot of their personal items to benefit their Tiger Foundation. And I'm happy to say in McMinnville on display, I have some of their original jackets from their 1970s Frontier show that I won at auction. So,
oh, wow.
yeah.
I can remember them being at one of the hotels, I think.
The Mirage.
The Mirage,
The
that's
Mirage,
right.
yeah.
They were in residence there many, many years. And I think this was before their incident happened with the tiger, and still performing. Do you ever do shows with someone? I would think that would be neat to kind of work with another magician like that and kind of tag team.
So I've actually had the chance to perform with a couple of magicians. My most recent one was with Noah and Heather Wells in Destin, Florida, at their theater. I was there, and I had told Noah I was there, and he was like, "Would you like to do like a little guest appearance?" And I went up there, and I do this act in my show where I do a very unconventional version of the classic linking rings, but it's a little bit more magical and defying gravity. I won't give it away. I did that there, which is kind of like my signature go-to if I'm just going to do one illusion and kind of sell the show.
Right.
So I've done that, and I love sharing the stage with other magicians because I think it's fun to kind of, for the audience to see a different perspective of style.
Yeah. So what is, you said that's kind of a signature thing that you like to do. Is there something that you kind of like this big trick, or trick may not be the correct word. I know you all don't really refer to it as tricks, do you?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of funny in the magician world. Do we refer to it as trick, illusion, or magic? And at the end of the day, I think it's whatever anybody's personal preference is. So you won't offend me.
Okay. So is there something, I guess, that you think I would love to be able to master that illusion?
Out of in Minville in my theater, I've had the space to be able to do some really large stuff. We do stuff with. I have an assistant. Her name is Jacqueline, and she's absolutely amazing. She graduated college with a theater degree, so she's naturally into habitat. So Jacqueline works with me on a lot of the illusions. We perform 25 grand illusions in the show. Some of my favorites have been floating an audience member in the middle of the audience, surrounded, which normally you think the magic's on stage, being able to bring that into the audience. In the current show I have, where I make audience members, random ones, and it could be you, disappear from the stage and reappear in the back of the room. Jacqueline, we do stuff. We've done the sawing in half. We've done where she gets on a sword and the sword so different styles of magic. Now, to say that I've been thinking of a trick that I'd love to do, there is one in mind, and I think it's going to come to reality very soon. But I'm always trying to do that next bigger style. So
yeah, always adding to it. And I guess you want to change up the show from time to time as well, just to make it different. That way somebody could come, once a year and it would be a different show. Exactly.
And every year we change the show completely, 100% completely different show. New music, new costumes, new acts, everything is very fresh. I do have a lot of reoccurring guests that come that love to see the show. I actually have this family that comes all the way. They drive an hour and a half, and he's a magician as well. He's getting started in his career. His name is Hudson, and Hudson loves to come to the show. They come to almost every show, and I'm so appreciative of them. During Christmas and Halloween, we'll add in different illusions. So no matter when you see the show, it's never going to be the same.
Okay.
Different audience every night means different outcomes each night.
Yeah.
So it's very fun.
Well, also tell us real quick about with it being the fall, September, October's right at our door. Rigor Mortis will be kicking up, which is your haunted attraction there. So what are some things that people could look forward to as that gets close and they start going to see that?
It's crazy. Fall is already here. This year has flew. So yes, Rigor Mortis is a 50,000 indoor square feet haunted attraction here in Minville, Tennessee. This is our 5th year, which our big campaign this year is 5 years of fear. It's in the Minville Plaza, and when you first pull up, you're like, okay, there's no way there's this many square footage. But what people don't see is that most of the haunted house is underground, so it's 2 levels.
There is a basement in
there.
There
is, and it goes very deep, and we've renovated it to the highest level of detail. So when you walk in, we want you to feel like you've been transported away. It's like being on a movie set where floor to ceiling, everything from the temperature of the air to the smells to if you're going through a rainstorm, there's water. So it's very immersive in that aspect. There's 50 live actors each night that we employ to act in the haunted house. This year we're opening September the 16th, and we'll run every Friday and Saturday. Then in October, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the week of Halloween, the whole week week, and then a little bit in November. So we have a lot of days that you can come visit. And if you want to, you can buy tickets at the door, or you can also order them online to avoid lines and stuff at rigamortishauntedhouse.com.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's in the Plaza Shopping Center, which is just right across the
Out of
street
all
from
places,
us. I know.
right?
But you've got a very impressive storefront there. I know whenever you developed the theater look over the top, the marquee, I guess is what I'm trying to think of. It looks very nice. You do everything to very tastefully, and it
Thank
looks
you.
very
I
impressive.
appreciate it. We try.
Yeah, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to talk to Jordan some more, and he's going to do a couple of magic illusions or tricks for us, but come back for more table talk.